The Constitution already says we can bear arms, whether we're protecting ourselves. It doesn't make any difference. We have the right to bear arms. And why can a bureaucrat tell me, as a citizen, that I can't follow the Constitution when we have continually degraded our Constitution to the point we need to give it to Iraq or Iran or someone because we're not using it. They're looking for one.
Right.
I'm so tired of politicians and talking out of both sides of their mouth and saying, I'm for this, and then vote against it. Or not standing up completely and staying with what they said in the first place.
Right.
And then we get, you talking about going up there and you get 10 people together, it's a great theory. But Washington, D.C. is broke. It has been broke. Every year, I hear some politician talk about we're going to make a change. It's been 102 years that the Democrats have had the state. Why have we not turned it upside down when we control the House, the Senate, and the governor's mansion?
That's the question I'm asking myself too, unfortunately.
You've been on the right side of it.
Okay.
Right.
Our federal budget is phenomenally out of control. We are quickly heading towards bankruptcy.
Right.
The only way to really get our federal budget under control is to look at entitlement reform.
Right.
What are you going to do as far as entitlement reform?
Well, and you're right, because we've created it too easy for people to get it, unfortunately. And that's not pleasant for folks who are close to being, close to getting it, unfortunately. But that's not what it was meant for in the beginning. So we have got to, unfortunately, means test it. Make sure that those folks that can work need to be out working. They shouldn't have easy access. I think some ways that we can block grant a lot of stuff down in the states and get the federal government out. I think the states can be more effective in how that money is spent. Most of the things that are wrong is because the federal government has gotten in the middle of it, and we want to do this because the feds will give us free money. And that's the thinking. Folks, whenever they say, "Oh, there's money out there," they think, "Well, it's free money." Well, it's not free money. It's our tax dollars. So we have to overhaul the entire system. There's some plans out there. They're going to be criticized a lot because they are making some bold moves, and I think you have to make that. It's time to dramatically change the way we think, because we can't keep spending without cutting, and not the idea of cuts that Washington has. I mean, they increase their budget 8% every year, so if they only do it 6%, they think, oh well, we cut our budget 2%. Well, no, you didn't. A cut. If you got $100, $90 is a cut, not $102. So I think that's the kind of way you have to think about it.
Kind of a follow-up question.
Yes.
What about, okay, I actually had a woman in my office last week who has been receiving disability benefits for a long time, wanted to go back to work again. Now, that is the 4th person that has been in my office this year who had an overpayment of more than $40,000. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Hers was actually $65,000. Yeah. Okay. On an $800 a month benefit, takes a while to get to $65,000.
Right.
The Social Security Administration, let's face it, quite frankly, they have got to get their stuff together.
Right. And really, I mean, Senator Coburn is back in black. He's identified all those things.
Right.
And unfortunately, I was speaking to a congressman. I said, okay, I mean, Senator Coburn has this book. There's $9 trillion worth of cuts. Anybody looking at any of those? And they said no. I mean, there's a book. Just open a page. Just pick a page and let's do it. And that's kind of the philosophy that I'll take. I mean, I clean carpets for a living. Sometimes we do flood jobs, and you walk into a house and the whole thing is flooded. Furniture is stacked up to the You know, it's always happened when they come off vacation, they've got all their suitcases and all the dirty clothes everywhere, and you think, oh my goodness, where do you start? Well, you just pick a room. You start with that room. You clear that room out first, you've got some place to start. I think that's what you're gonna have to do with federal government. You just gotta pick a place to start. And if you can do that, you know, because if you look at the overall picture, you're thinking, oh my goodness, you can't do it. But if you start taking it bite at a time, it's kind of like eating an elephant. Everyone's heard that. How do you eat an elephant? You do it bite at a time. I think people are afraid to do that because that may not promote themselves well enough. You know, it's all about the being on camera, all about the news blip, and you know, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about public service.
Back on Social Security reform, I don't see Social Security as an entitlement. I've been paying for it for 55 years. It's not an entitlement. Now where the problem is, of course, this all went back to Lyndon Johnson, but my middle daughter and her first husband's father drew Social Security disability, $1,200 a month, Social Security disability for years and years and years. His disability, he's a meth addict.
Yeah.
That is when they start talking, and part of it, I'm sure a lot of it's the Democrats, but I've heard some Republicans up there do it too. Oh, we can't take the Social Security away. Well, no, from somebody like me that's been paying for it all my life, no, you better not start cutting it down a little bit, yeah, but don't be taking it away. Let's take it away from the people that are able to work and won't. Let's cut back on the Nancy Pelosi and all her folks taking 60 people to Italy for an art festival. Let's stop flying Barack Obama's dog to Martha Vineyard on his private plane. You know, there are things that can be done. Like I say, Tom Coburn's book, I've seen a lot of what's in that book. You know, a monkey could solve this problem.
And they're pretty easy ideas, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they are. But the problem is people up there, that's why one of the things I like about your idea, you're not the only one saying I'm going up there for a set amount of time. You know, and people have talked about term limits, and I'm a term limits fan to a certain extent. But the problem with what term limits won't solve is that 50-year bureaucrat that's going to draw $300,000 a year to sit on a butt and do nothing but write regulations that don't apply to us or shouldn't apply to us. But that's one thing. If whoever goes up there from the second district, that needs to be job number one. I mean, some of the guys have, well, I'm going to get this legislation. Well, no, you're not going to get any legislation passed. Nobody. Whichever one of you guys goes up there, you're not going to get a single bill even considered for a committee until you've kissed John Boehner's butt about 50 times.
Well, get rid of me. Get rid of me.
Well, but the thing is what our next guy needs to focus on is putting the stop and I've heard several of you say, we need to get together, get like-minded people together, and just say no. Right. Boehner needs to go to start with. If the first vote you take is for John Boehner, you will find me making your life miserable for however long you're there. That man is a disaster. He's a walking. To me, and you said earlier that the president's the most important election. I could be the president of the United States. You give me a good Senate and a good House, my 12-year-old grandson could be a good president. That's where the power is in Congress. And the problem we have right now is our Congress is not doing what they're paid to do. They're up there rubber stamping whatever Barack Obama wants. And you watch 2 years tops, we're going to be Venezuela. Because that's where we're headed.
At $165, $65 a year, we're paying somebody to do something. Like you said, you're talking a good story. Why ain't you gonna do it? That's next to it. How do you do that?
I don't know a lot of the, I know the civics that at school, like something, but I don't know a lot about all the house rules and how they decide as far as when there are enough conservatives in the Congress, can you change who leadership is?
You can.
That's maybe that's what we're hoping for.
Right.
We don't want conservatives aren't there.
Right, and there are some conservative caucuses among the Republicans as well. So, you know, we just have to let them work. I mean, that's the bottom line. We had too many people who've been up there for too long, and they're entrenched. And it's gonna. I mean, we're seeing it happen right now. You're seeing Democrats that have been there for years for being defeated, You're seeing Republicans are in there. I think the whole Tea Party movement, I think the internet, I think all the social media has made it more available for us to find out what's going on. I mean, used to be C-SPAN, and no one's the one to watch that. Now any kind of little blip is out there, so I think we're able to hold them more accountable now because people are more informed. Because they've left the traditional media and they're watching every vote on the table. So I think that's the key. We just have to, you know, it's a game of numbers. Get more conservatives in, and then it will determine conservatives.
You know, guys, if I were a congressman, the thing that I would try to do is pick out some of these subjects and do it just a little bit at a time, as you say, one bite of the apple at a time. In reference to what Kirk said about Oklahoma, the Democrats had it for 102 years, and that was only 10 years ago. So we've only been at this for 10 years. But I can tell you a lot of things that have happened since the Republicans took